On 7:30 Queensland, finding a way forward for Fraser Island's dingoes.
It's been a very long haul and a lot of pain and a lot of heartache, and I hope some really, really good stuff come out of it.
Should alcohol limits in Indigenous communities be lifted?
I don't want to see, as a result of anything we do, another woman being bashed, another child being abused.
And putting on an act to teach the next generation of nurses.
Well done, team.
Hello, welcome to the program. I'm Jessica Van Vonderen. More than 800 people have been ambushed or attacked by dingoes on Fraser Island since the mauling death of a 9-year-old Brisbane boy 11 years ago. This week, 2 young children and a teenage girl were stalked and nipped by a dingo in 2 separate incidents near Cathedral Beach. The job of trying to balance the safety of people in a wild national park is a delicate matter which has divided communities across the region. But now the state government wants an overhaul of the current dingo management system and is calling on the public to help. Josh Bavis reports from Fraser Island.
Fraser Island's earliest inhabitants called it Gov't. It means paradise. Formed thousands of years ago, the ancient island provides safe harbour for migratory birds and native animals, among them Australia's purest population of dingoes. These days, the World Heritage listed landscape is shared by visitors who come to breathe in its natural beauty and catch a glimpse of the wildlife. But sometimes these worlds collide, and once it's ended in tragedy.
The eldest son was set upon by 2 dingoes while walking from their campsite to the beach.
The death of 9-year-old Clinton Gage in 2001 sent shockwaves across the country. A management plan was put in place to ensure such a thing wouldn't happen again. More than 1/5 of the dingoes on Fraser Island were immediately culled. Back then, parks and wildlife officers thought about 160 dingoes lived on the island. More than a decade on, authorities say numbers could have bounced back to as many as 200. Now, the government is reviewing the plans, and locals say they've been calling for that for years.
You couldn't talk about dingo management. No one wanted to know.
In an effort to protect people, 7 dingo-proof fences were installed around camping and residential areas 4 years ago at a cost of $1.5 million. It's been one of the most contentious of the management responses.
It's incongruous with the whole concept and spirit of what World Heritage actually means.
Bree Jashin has been living in Happy Valley for more than 9 years. She says the fences, electric wires and grids are plagued with failures and breakdowns. Fences collapse and dingoes have learned to step across the grids. She says the fences don't help people or dingoes and should be torn down. Graham Porter runs tourist cabins inside the so-called dingo-free zone.
The dingo fence doesn't work because the power into it over the grids doesn't work at all, and they've wandered through here from time to time. And we've had the Parks and Wildlife, this is a couple of years ago, had the Parks and Wildlife to come and get them back out.
There's concern the dingo fences have disrupted the natural balance of other ecosystems.
So species that the dingoes would normally be eating, rodents, bandicoots, snakes, that sort of stuff, are in a sense protected from the dingoes by being inside those fences. So yes, there is a possibility for change.
Biologist Leah Burns is one of the researchers who will add her studies to the review, which will look at safety to people, maintaining World Heritage status, animal welfare and keeping an authentic tourism experience.
There's research being done on the dingo ecology, on dingo behaviour, on DNA, on their diet. So we're getting a better understanding of what's happening in terms of the dingo population on the island. And there's also research being done on the people side of that as well.
Dr. Burns says the animals need protection with a long-term solution in mind, but she says managing people is as important as managing dingoes.
From my own research of interviewing people and talking to people there, people want to see dingoes. It's part of the experience they're keen to have usually, but people want a positive interaction. And I think getting the right information across to them is really crucial in that.
When there's far more intelligent ways to be able to go about something, and that something is the people who visit here.
Since the government began keeping records on dingo interactions in 2002, 838 people have been stalked, nipped or attacked. And in the last 20 years, the number of tourists have more than tripled. Part of the dingo strategy on Fraser Island has always focused on educating tourists.
Oh, yeah, I like it. I don't mind the wild dogs. I mean, they're here to eat, so, I mean, if you're stupid enough to leave your camp undone and that, so, but they haven't ripped into the tents or anything, chasing food, you just appreciate what it's their land, so we're camping on their land.
Probably not much more they can really do. You know, fence off where the people are, where they want to stay with their children. Then you want to get out in the park and go into the wild, so to speak. Well, just be smart about what you do.
You just go by our rules and just look after the place, and that way other generations can enjoy it in the future. Yeah, because it's just such a unique place, and we want to protect it for further generations.
While many have heeded the safety messages, the review will consider whether more needs to be done. Under the current management plan, dingoes are put down if they're deemed as a threat by local rangers. Nearly 30 of the animals have been euthanased in the last 3 years. The Minister says the review will consider many facets of what's often been a bitter and at times emotional debate over the management of Fraser Island dingoes.
My main priority for Fraser Island is to get that balance right, is to make sure that we have a viable Fraser Island dingo population that is managed in a way that ensures that our tourists can continue to enjoy the fantastic experience that is Fraser Island.
We'll make sure we've got everything packed up, all the cupboard doors are locked.
If you see a baby dingo, there's a mummy dingo somewhere. Bingo!
Josh Bavis reporting.